Brandon's Story, Part 2, Page 7. We looked for an easy way down, but it looked too dangerous. We were about to give up and go back to school. I was really planning what to say to my dad when Emily said, "Look, a rope." A rope was hanging from a small tree near the top of the ravine. It looked new, and it had got knots in it to make it easy to climb down. Somebody had tried to hide the rope in the tree. "Weird," said Emily. Somebody wanted to climb down the ravine. But why? And why did they try to hide the rope? "I don't care. I'm going down to get my ball." I started to climb down the rope. "Wait! Be careful! It's too dangerous," said Emily. But I was already climbing down the rope. I wasn't scared. I was thinking about my football. The questions for this part are: 1. Was it easy to go down the ravine? Why? No, it wasn't, because it looked too dangerous. 2. What were they about to do? They were about to give up and go back to school. 3. What was Brandon planning to do? He was planning what to say to his dad about the ball. 4. Look, a rope. And this is a quotation. Who was the speaker, and to whom? Emily to Brandon. Where was the rope? It was hanging from a small tree near the top of the ravine. How did the rope look like? It looked new, and it had got knots in it. Why were there knots in the rope? To make it easy to climb down. Where did Emily find the rope? It was hidden in the tree. 5. Weird. Somebody wanted to climb down the ravine. This is a quotation. Who was the speaker, and to whom? Emily to Brandon. What does the rope indicate? It indicates that somebody wanted to climb down the ravine. Why didn't Brandon care about what Emily said? Because he wanted to get his ball back. 6. Wait! Be careful! It's too dangerous. This is another quotation. Who was the speaker, and to whom? Emily to Brandon. What was Brandon doing at that moment? He was climbing down the rope. While climbing down, was Brandon scared? Why? No, he wasn't, because he was thinking about his football. Page 8. When I got to the bottom of the ravine, I climbed over all the rubbish to get to my football. There were a lot of things down there. Bicycles with no wheels, cars with no engines, sofas with no cushions, even a broken piano. I found my ball! I shouted and kicked the ball towards Emily. And the questions for this part are: 1. What did Brandon do when he got to the bottom of the ravine? He climbed over all the rubbish to get to his football. 2. What things were there at the bottom of the ravine? There were a lot of things. Bicycles with no wheels, cars with no engines, sofas with no cushions, and a broken piano. 3. I found my ball. A quotation. Who was the speaker, and to whom? براندون to Emily. Where did he find the ball? Or where was the ball? Yes, it was at the bottom of the ravine. Why did it go down the ravine? Do you remember the answer for this question? We talked about it in detail in the first part of this video. I'll link it up there on the right. But try to remember the answer by yourself. What did the speaker do with the ball when he found it? He kicked the ball towards Emily. Page 9. I was starting to walk back to the rope when I noticed something. It was a hole in the rocks, and it was big enough for a person to climb into. There was a red ribbon in front of the hole. I knew immediately what it was. It was the ribbon we had tied around the school bell on open day. My heart jumped when I saw it. Emily, you won't believe this. Come down here. Quick, I shouted. Why? You'll see. I hope there is a good reason for this, براندون, said Emily as she climbed down the rope. And the questions for this part are: 1. What did براندون notice before reaching the rope? There was a hole in the rocks, and there was a red ribbon in front of the hole. 2. How big was the hole that براندون found? It was big enough for a person to climb into. 3. What did براندون understand when he saw the red ribbon? It was the ribbon they had tied around the school bell on open day. 4. How did براندون feel when he saw the red ribbon? His heart jumped. You won't believe this. Come down here, quick. And this is a quotation. Who was the speaker, and to whom? براندون to Emily. What did براندون find? Or what surprised براندون? Or why did براندون's heart jump? He found the red ribbon of their school bell. 6. I hope there is a good reason for this. Another quotation. Who was the speaker, and to whom? Emily to براندون. Why did she say that? Because he called her to climb down the ravine to show her something surprising. What was براندون talking about? Or what did he find in the ravine? The red ribbon. Page 10. I showed Emily the ribbon. We looked at each other and then looked at the ribbon again. We both looked at the hole in the rocks. The bell might be inside the hole, Emily said. She had got a little torch on her keyring. We shined the torch into the hole. Inside it there was a tunnel, and inside the tunnel there was a ladder. We couldn't see where the tunnel went. We stopped for a moment and then made a crazy decision. We climbed into the tunnel and started climbing up the ladder. Emily went first, with her torch between her teeth. It was cold and wet and scary, but we just kept thinking of our school bell. We climbed and climbed. Then, at last, we got to the top of the ladder. We were inside a cave. The questions for this part are: 1. What did براندون show Emily? The ribbon. 2. The bell might be inside the hall. A quotation. Who was the speaker and to whom? Emily to براندون. Where were they? At the ravine in front of a hall. What did Emily have? She had got a little torch on her keyring. What did they do with the torch? They shined the torch into the hall. What was inside the hall? There was a tunnel, and inside the tunnel there was a ladder. What was the crazy decision they made? They climbed into the tunnel and started climbing up the ladder. Who went first in the tunnel and why? Emily, because she had the torch between her teeth. How was the tunnel? It was cold, wet, and scary. Where were they when they got to the top of the ladder? They were inside a cave. Page 11. There was a cave in the side of the ravine. I'd never heard anyone say there was a cave there. It was very dark, but from the light of the torch we could see that the cave was small. I looked back down the tunnel and I could see a circle of light from the entrance of the tunnel. Emily and I explored the cave very carefully, but we couldn't find anything. We looked again. Nothing. It was empty. We hadn't found our school bell. Come on, I said. Let's get out of here. I got up and started walking back toward the tunnel. Suddenly, something touched me on the face. Ah! I screamed. Ah! Screamed Emily too. And the questions for this part are: number 1. What was there in the side of the ravine? A cave. How big was the cave? It was small. What could براندون see when he looked back down the tunnel? A circle of light from the entrance of the tunnel. What did they do inside the cave? And did they find anything? They explored the cave very carefully. And no, they didn't. It was empty. Come on, let's get out of here. Who was the speaker and to whom? براندون to Emily. What did the speaker do after that? He got up and started walking back toward the tunnel. What suddenly happened? Suddenly, something touched براندون on the face. Page 12. What's the matter? Shouted Emily. Something touched me. Quick, give me your torch. Emily gave me her torch, and I shined the light above my head. We could see a bag. It was hanging from the roof of the cave. Next to the bag, we could see a hole in the roof of the cave with another ladder in it. And the questions for this part are: what's the matter? A quotation. Who was the speaker, and to whom? Emily to براندون. What made براندون scream? Something touched him on the face. What did براندون ask from Emily? To give him her torch. What did براندون do with the torch? What did he see? He shined the light above his head, and they saw a bag. Where was the bag? It was hanging from the roof of the cave. What was next to the bag? A hole in the roof with another ladder in it. We came to the end of the events of the story for this term. I hope you do well in your exams. Until we meet again. See you. Bye.